I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway. Those words written by the Apostle Paul over 2,000 years ago make me wonder if Paul had a time machine. Because he's obviously been spying on and is writing about me, about us. How many times do we live out those words, planning to do one thing and ending up somehow doing the exact opposite? Whether it's hurting someone close to us, having one too many wobbly pops, or simply telling a little white lie, it doesn't really matter. Somehow we end up not where we planned. Why do you think we end up there? You know, that question makes me think of the story of the prodigal son, who ended up starving and tending pigs far away from home after he'd wasted all of his money. Do you think he set out with that goal, though? I doubt it. I suspect he planned to go off and have a good life, have some fun, get married, perhaps have some kids, live happily ever after. What do you think happened? Why would he have spent all his money foolishly instead of saving or investing some for the life that he planned? I think the issue in the story is about control. The son thought he had everything under control. You ever notice that we're not even given his name? Just the son or he? See, I wonder about things like that. One of my quirks, I guess. Perhaps we're not given his name so that we can use ours instead when we read the story. I wonder. Anyways, the prodigal son thought his plans were going to work out, but they didn't, did they? The control he had, it seems, was just an illusion. He wasn't in control at all. And he ended up in the exact opposite place than he'd planned. What was it that Paul said? So what did he do when faced with the fact that he wasn't where he wanted to be, where he'd planned to be? Well, he makes his first smart decision, one that helps get his life back on track. He gives up. Now, as funny and counterintuitive as that seems, it was the right decision. He recognized that when he was in charge of his life, things didn't end up as he wanted or as he thought they would. He decided to go back to his family and give up control over his life. He'd go to work as a farmhand for his dad because he could see that even that life would be far better than the one he'd created for himself. Now, as the story turns out, his father welcomes him back not as a servant, but as a son, and restores him. But even in that, things turned out differently than the son had envisioned, didn't they? It seems if the story of the prodigal son has anything to say about the truth found in Paul's words, it's that we need to recognize that we truly have no control. The control, at least in our hands, is an illusion. Left to our own devices, we find ourselves doing what we know is wrong anyway, ending up where we hadn't planned and don't want to be. It seems we must give up control if we're to truly have it. How's that for a brain twister? That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, does it? Maybe that's the point. To understand something is to perceive or comprehend the nature and significance of something. To understand or grasp an idea. To comprehend and master it. Well, those are all concepts related to controlling something, aren't they? And what did the story and Paul have to say about how things turn out when they're under our control? So what if we don't understand it? Not understanding seems to be pointing in the right direction this time. So are Paul's words and the story of the prodigal son calling us to simply give up and just go with the flow? No, I don't believe that's at all what they're saying. They are calling us to try and do our best to live lives that we desire, to make plans and to understand things. But they also call us to recognize that with us strictly in control, things are probably not going to turn out as we planned. We need to let others have control in our lives at times, to take the reins, whether they be friends or family or our boss, and especially God. Some of Paul's other words, "For when I am weak, then I am strong," point us in this direction of humility and the lesson that we can draw from the prodigal son. That with us in control, we end up flat on the ground. But when we recognize our need for help, we firmly plant a foot below us to help us stand up. So I guess what we need to ask ourselves today and every day is, how are we doing? Are we trying to control things and reap the rewards that gets us? Or are we recognizing that we can't do it alone and asking for help?
Hey Rob, thanks for calling back. I'm about to take on this motor now. The frame's done, and I need some help. One second.
Thanks. Have a great week, and God bless.
All right, so where should I start with this thing?
Escape the wheel.